Corbett's first budget proposal cuts spending and includes no new or increased taxes. While many lawmakers are pleased to see lower spending, there are some concerns. Let's spend 5 minutes on the budget with State Representative Fred Keller. Welcome.
Hi. Glad to be here and discuss the budget with you.
And your first impressions. It was his first address, and your thoughts about it.
Well, actually, it's not only the governor's first budget, but it's also mine. So as we go through the process and, listening to the governor, I really appreciate the fact that and applaud that we're going to look at Pennsylvania as making sure that we pay as we go and we are responsible with the taxpayers' dollars. So I'm really pleased with that. I'm also pleased with the fact that when you look at the overall proposal, the $27.3 billion that we have to spend, that the governor has, when you look at veterans, it funds the veterans things, which is very near and dear to me because we have the right to do what we can do because of the veterans. We need to make sure we take care of the people that have given us the rights we have. So I'm very pleased with that.
Certainly this is just a starting point because the legislature now gets involved and priorities may be a little different than from what the governor has laid out. What areas do you see that are slightly different, maybe some things that you would like to change?
Well, again, looking at the whole budget, we've got $27.3 billion to spend. And in looking at that, I think we maybe need to look to some of the abuses and the fraud in the DPW, take some of those areas and see what we can do to get some money out from those departments and move them maybe over to education or actually to support the ag land grant universities because agriculture is our #1 industry in the state. So, protecting the fact of how we invest in the future and move forward I think is really important. So I would see us, to your point, it is a starting point. The number's what it is. Let's see how we move the money around to support the necessary things and keep Pennsylvania moving forward and on the right track.
And certainly in the welfare budget, some of the fraud has been documented by Auditor General Jack Wagner, and there can be significant savings if things are done.
Yeah, I think there's some areas that we can look at there. And when I say that, we want to make sure that the help gets to where it needs to go.
Right.
I'm not for taking help away from elderly or people that truly need it. But, where the abuses are, we need to look at that. We need to take a good look at it. I know there's going to be some welfare reform packages coming out of the House. More to be said in the next day or two on that. So I would encourage people to look forward to what's coming, what the bills the House is looking at rolling out as far as dealing with some of the issues and ways that we can save money in the welfare budget.
In addition, there's a looming problem with unemployment compensation. Can you talk about that?
Well, actually, we had hearings just a day or so ago regarding the unemployment compensation and the fund for the state. And the state has been borrowing money from the federal government. And it doesn't deal with the extension, it deals with the 26 weeks of the state benefit. And currently, Pennsylvania owes about a little over $3 billion to the federal government for unemployment compensation. So we need to look at some reforms in regard to that because if we don't do something and fix the problem we have, it's going to start costing the employers and the employees more each week.
And then finally, leadership in the House Republican caucus has said from the beginning that they plan to have an on-time budget. Did you see anything from Governor Corbett's proposal that would make that more difficult?
Well, looking at that and looking at myself, because that's something that I've talked about for the past year or so, is we need to have budgets on time. We need to work together. I think as long as we stay within the $27.3 billion spend, I think we can see how we need to fund the necessary programs and keep things moving. And I think as long as we do that and stay within the parameters of what Pennsylvania can afford, and that's really what it's about, what we can afford. And that's not Governor Corbett's afford number, that's not anybody's, that's Pennsylvania's number. That's the money we have, no differently than if you run a business or your home, you have so much money to spend. And this is what we have, and we really need to look for ways to eliminate some waste and make our every dollar we spend effective.
Well, you have your work cut out for you, and there's work ahead to be done, but it seems like we're on the right track.
I think so, and looking at what we can do to increase the business climate and bring jobs. As we bring jobs, that will create additional revenue, and that will ultimately help our situation.
Thanks for taking time to be with us today.
Thank you.
And if you have comments or questions about this or any other legislative topic, Representative Keller's contact information will be on the screen in just a few moments. I'm Laurie Bull. Thanks for spending 5 minutes with State Representative Fred Keller.